in late 2019, fires raged across Australia. Families like this one stood and watched their home burn to the ground. Most people saw these fires as a single nation disaster, but the story didn't end there. To the amazement of even scientists, the fingerprints of these fires lingered for years. The smoke traveled with the winds. It brightened clouds in the eastern Pacific, cooled the sea surface temperatures underneath them, intensifying the La Niña pattern of colder than normal temperatures. And La Niña had worldwide impacts. Floods in Southeast Asia, drought in US Southwest, and a more active hurricane season in the Atlantic, including Hurricane Laura, which tore through the Gulf Coast, testing resilience in this region. So you may ask, how does a fire in one nation have such a broad impact? It's because the Earth system is very interconnected, just like our human body. You can think of it this way. The atmosphere is like our lungs. Oceans are like the circulatory system. Land holds strength like muscle and skin. And we're not outside of this body. We're very much in it. The crops we grow, the buildings we electrify, the fires we set, they all ripple through the system and cause chain reactions. And we're seeing lots of these chain reactions now. Droughts, heat waves, floods, air pollution disturbances, and even solar storms, all impacting our lives. So the question is, how do we remain resilient in this world? Well, resilience is not only about bouncing back. Resilience is also about being ready and taking action before the storms hit. And that readiness depends on foresight. And that foresight depends on understanding and our ability to predict the Earth system. So our science, what underpins our understanding of the Earth system, has to consider the Earth system for what it truly is, an interconnected whole where no part stands alone. Unfortunately, the way we do science is not that connected. Atmospheric scientists study the air. Oceanographers track the seas. Ecologists study life on land. Engineers and social scientists, they work in their own lanes. And communities, with their knowledge, they're often left on the sidelines. So each discipline dives deep and produces extraordinary knowledge. But too often, that knowledge does not connect, not between the science disciplines and not with the communities who need it. The result? Brilliant insight, but in pieces, missing the connective tissue to help our communities be resilient. And I felt this myself. I've been at odds with the siloed system of science for most of my career. A while back, I even quit my job as an atmospheric scientist, as something felt missing, though I couldn't name it at the time. I was told I was doing really good work, but I could not breathe inside the silos. I felt I was producing knowledge, but that knowledge wasn't being tied to the greater whole. It was just knowledge being put in manuscripts and shelved in journals. Over time, I came to realize what was missing for me. It was the connections. Connections in science, connections to people, connections to purpose. Because connections between science, people, purpose, and action make a whole. And when those are separate, resilience remains out of reach, and our lives begin to fall apart. But science didn't start off divided. Early thinkers like Aristotle sought to study the Earth as a living whole. It was only as our tools begin to sharpen, telescopes for the stars, barometers for the air, chemistry labs, that we begin to split things apart. The divide came further in the 20th century. Wars and military needs influenced that. And then we created separate agencies with separate missions that stovepipe research funding. In addition, the universities followed with structures that carve science into pieces. And then to top it off, the success in science was defined on individual achievement. So metrics like first author papers. So all in all, we created a system of science that rewards studying Earth in separate pieces. There is good news, however. In the last 50 years, we made tremendous progress stitching Earth system science back together. In the 1980s, NASA's Earth System Science Committee made a call to action. Study Earth as a system, with all parts connected. In the 1990s, the first Earth system models emerged, and they linked atmosphere, land, and ocean together. And those enabled many discoveries and better understanding of phenomena such as La Nina. They also enabled better forecasts. So we're definitely making progress. The problem is, the progress is not fast enough for what the societal needs are right now. We're living in a time in history where we truly need science and society to connect in order to have foresight, in order to fuel resilience. So picture this: a city planner, a scientist, an engineer, community leaders, industry partners, sitting around one table, looking at forecasts not only weeks, months, but decades ahead, looking at resources, looking at community structures, and making decisions together about when to release water, what buildings to build, and how to prepare for disasters. This type of teamwork is possible, and in some places it's already happening. So how can we create it everywhere? We need to reconnect what we fragmented. First, we need to teach science as a system. Then we need to fund more interdisciplinary work. We need to reward teamwork and collaboration. And we need to co-create knowledge with the communities who depend on it. And I know it's like when we do things differently. Since coming back to science, I've worked with teams that embody trust, purpose, and connection. That trust fuels ideas, connection sparks creativity, and it's that creativity that innovation and moves science forward. It creates solutions to support resilience. And the need for resilience is no longer abstract. Our communities are at risk. So the fires in Australia weren't only Australia's story. They were all of our story. A reminder that what burns in one place touches lives everywhere. So if we want to be resilient in the 21st century, we need to reimagine how we do science, how we teach it, how we fund it, and how we work together. So the next time the smoke circles the globe, our foresight is already there. Fragmentation makes us fragile. Connection makes us strong. It's true for science. It's true for society. It's true for us. Thank you.